Welcome back, everybody. This is me, your host Johnny, live from my mother's basement. Alright, yeah! This is going to be a discussion-based video. Audio thing. Audio, more than likely. This deals with, a pretty looked-over topic, I think, in the YWC, especially as we're rolling into WrestleMania season and TNA's lockdown season, and, this is kind of like the World Series or the Super Bowl of wrestling time, at least for WWE. TNA seems like they focus more on their Bound for Glory. But, we're going to be talking today about a subject that I don't think gets a whole lot of attention, and I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about it, or at least you're very polarized. You're either on board or you're not. And I'm talking about triple threat matches, and I'm not just talking about triple threat matches for a title, but they could be triple threat matches for number one contendership. They could be just regular old triple threat matches to advance a storyline and insert a new person into a feud and kind of break off into a new feud with two other people. I don't know. A lot of the times I look back at triple threat matches over the years, and I can't help but really be disappointed. To me, it leaves a lot to be desired. I think that throwing a third wheel in there, sometimes it has the possibility to accentuate a match, to bring out the best in somebody else by adding an unpredictable element. Yes, that much is true. But at the same time, I think a lot of the psychology and a lot of the storytelling can be lost in a triple threat match, and honestly, if we're looking at it from a point of view of a guy that's been following wrestling for, 25 or 26 years almost now, it seems like lazy booking to me. If you can't come up with a compatible enough storyline to where two guys can be in a feud, or two guys can work a program and have other feuds and other programs going on at the same time to advance people up and down the card, the easiest thing to do is to inject another third party into a fucking triple threat match and into a situation where he wouldn't have already been. Now, there's something to be said for triple threats that go well. There have been a few over the years. I mean, and we're talking about a lot of years, obviously, because I'm counting at least the 25 that I've watched wrestling and followed. But you can really look back and say, oh, well, this triple threat match was great, or this triple threat match was great. And I'm not here to give you a list of the greatest of the greats, but what I am here to do is to get everybody's opinion on this, and I really hope that this sparks some really good discussion. And I challenge anybody out there that can hear my voice, or at least can even read the title of this video, if you're not going to make it through the whole thing, which really shouldn't go on that long, what are your opinions of triple threats? Can you come up with a list of 5 that stand out in your mind that wouldn't have been better off just being two guys going head to head? Because my whole deal is that I'm one of the people, and I think I might be in the minority on this one, which you guys are going to have to help me figure out. I can't tell. And I don't know if this is an IWC thing, a YWC thing, or if this is global, worldwide, casual fan involved, not just, the hardcore old people that are balding like myself. Do you really feel like a triple threat match leaves a lot to be desired and leaves one of the guys at least feeling like they're a third wheel? And, it's still a storyline that focuses around two people, and the other guy in it is just kind of there to fill space and maybe to get some cheap moves in and to set up a predictable finish, because that's really how I feel. I'm going to go to WWE on this one and talk about predictable finishes, and I'm going to talk about the Ryback, Cena, and Punk match. They had that, I believe that was the Survivor Series main event, right? Yes, going back. Sorry, this is hard for me. I haven't watched WWE in a long time. Did Cena really have to be in that match? because it was really just a match that was designed to be a repeat from the pay-per-view before it with Ryback and Punk. And they, for whatever reason, I guess they didn't think the pay-per-view was going to sell enough without having Cena in the main fucking event. Sure, it gave CM Punk a main event match, but was it worth it? If you were really just going to use Ryback to further a storyline between Punk and Cena, should that not have been the match, just the two of them? Where there didn't have to be super duper shenanigans and shit to, ensure that Punk got the victory in the end? I mean, it was almost ridiculous, to me, to look at that on paper and go, oh, well, Cena and Ryback are going to kind of take each other out and cancel each other out of the equation, and Punk is going to capitalize in a traditional heel way. Sure, the match was probably worth, whatever time it went for in terms of appeal for a casual audience that wants to see some bigger stars of at least the last year go at it, but what really was there to take a guy like me that, would probably not watch the pay-per-view, let alone pay for it, to sit there and really want to be glued to it and turned on to the idea? I just really feel like that wasn't a scenario where you needed to have a triple threat match. And maybe that's me being, a nitpicker, and, because that's really one specific example, and very recent too. There probably are other triple threat matches throughout history that I've even enjoyed, that have benefited from having that third guy in it, but I just kind of feel on the whole that it's really not a good thing to do, and it really just doesn't add as much to it as you would expect. In fact, it's just the quick and easy way to not have to write somebody else into a storyline the right way, and just, let's throw it together with a triple threat and we'll see what happens. And you prolong a feud or something that's going on for another pay-per-view, or even for another week or two on television. And even if you're talking about tag teams and tag titles and all this other stuff, I'm not really a fan of the triple threat there either, because you've only really got, what, two people in the ring at once anyway, even if it's a tag team match. If you're going to do a corners, blah, tornado style, some kind of thing, I'd at least expect there to be elimination involved, because you really don't just want to have fucking 8 people in the match the whole time. You want to give the audience something to really get behind, somebody to root for. And if you get, 2 heel teams or 3 heel teams and a babyface team in there, you can really try to get them behind the babyface team as they're rallying, because, I'm sure all the bad guys are going to gang up and do some badass shit. But then again, we're talking about WWE and tag team wrestling, which they really teased that they were going to give us, but in the grand scheme of things, did we really get to be better off than we were at the beginning of, 2011, as opposed to 2012, as opposed to now? Or has it really just kind of stayed the level that it was at, in terms of them booking the division and in terms of interest in it? I don't know, the argument can be made either way. The point I'm trying to make is, even with that, is with tag teams, it doesn't matter if it's singles, tag teams, whatever. The whole idea of the triple threat really just kind of, it does not appeal to me. I guess you could kind of say that triple threat wise, when you're watching the old war games, when they were having the 3 different teams, it was Team WCW versus Team NWO versus Team Wolfpack. That was kind of like a triple threat-ish elimination style team match that at the time, I guess, worked for me, but going back, it felt weak too. It should have just been, the NWO versus NWO, and WCW could have done something else with their stars and not gotten in the middle of that conflict. I know that they were trying to make it more multi-dimensional and a little bit less predictable, but I don't know. I just think that it all could have been separated in hindsight, and this is a guy that loved the NWO Wolfpack. At least at the time, I was really on board with it, and I can see now where they obviously went wrong with it, and the NWO just became this overinflated fucking thing, like the Aces and Eights is becoming now. But that's another argument for another time. Let's keep this to what the main focus was going to be, with being about triple threat matches and the competitors within, and if it just wouldn't be better off being two guys in the ring at once telling a story instead of three. If you can remember some great triple threat matches or highlights from it, or competitors that have been in them, by all means let me know. Share your thoughts. This is just to create discussion, and I hope that's what it does. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching, listening, whatever, and see you later.